Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about one of the problem statement, which is deploy a Java application over Tomcat 9 server using Jenkins and using Maven configuration. In order to do this, we are going to follow below steps. First, we will install Tomcat 9. Then we will change its port to 8081 so that Jenkins and Tomcat 9 can run together on the same server. As we know, Jenkins also uses same port as 8080, which is same as Tomcat 9. We have to either change port of Jenkins or we have to change either port of Tomcat 9. In my previous videos, I've already shown how to change port of Jenkins. This time, I'm going to show you how to change port of Tomcat 9 web server. After we do this, we will log in to Tomcat 9 server. We will look into its manager-gui. After that, we will create Tomcat 9 credentials in Jenkins so that manager-gui will allow us to log in into the application while hosting it, while deploying it. And after that, we will create Jenkins pipeline job. Once Jenkins pipeline job completes successfully, deployment step completes. Post that, we will verify if application context is released on Tomcat server or not. But before this, if you did not subscribe my channel or hit on the notification icon, please do that for now so that you remain updated with all the latest videos which I post. Now let's begin. First thing which we'll do is we will install Tomcat 9 on our WSL, which is on Windows, which is configured on Windows. In order to do that, I'm going to use sudo apt install Tomcat 9 and Tomcat 9-admin. And I'll put a flag Y. It's asking for my sudo password. And as I provide this, it's going to install Tomcat 9, Tomcat 9 admin. Done. As it's been installed, it is as of now hosted on port number 8080. Next thing which I have to do is I have to change the port from 8080 to 8081 so that I'll be able to access Tomcat 9 on port 8081. Let's see if I do have anything hosted on port number 8081 or not. In order to see, I'll just use my local host and I'll put 8081, post that. As of now, nothing is hosted on port number 8081 on my server. Next thing which I'll do is I'll configure Tomcat 9 so that it starts recognizing port number 8081. In order to do that, I'll have to go to configuration file of Tomcat and open the server.xml file which contains port details. In order to do that, I'll go to var lib tomcat 9 and conf directory. Here I have multiple files. The file which I'm looking for is server.xml. I'll edit this file, and as I'll edit this file, I'll have the option to update port number 8080 to 8081. Now, in order to do that, I will use VI editor. You can use any editor of your choice. As you can see, connector port was 8080, which I changed to 8081 for now. And I'll just save this and I'll come out of this. Next thing which I have to do is I have to do Tomcat user configuration also. But let's see, why do we even need user configuration in the first place? Let's restart Tomcat server so that updated port number will be recognized by Tomcat 9. In order to do that, I'm going to execute the command systemctl restart Tomcat 9. And it says fail to restart. It looks for certain authentication, which is sudo privileges, and it's done now. As I will come and as I'll refresh the page, it says it works. So basically now I'm able to connect to Tomcat 9 on my Windows server, which is hosted on port number 8081 instead of 8080 because we have changed it. Another thing is I want to access Manager Web App and Host Manager Web App. In order to access Manager Web App or host Manager Web App, I need to set up a username and password and assign certain roles to it. In order to set up username and password, I'll open a file which is tomcat users.xml. And as I'll open this file, it will allow me to add users and assign certain privileges to it. I'm going to do that. In order to do that, I'll add username as Tomcat, and I'm going to assign password to it. Value of the password which I want to set is password itself. Another thing which I'll do is I'll assign certain roles to this user, which is Tomcat. With this role, Tomcat will be able to access manager GUI and admin GUI and manager script. All the three interface will be accessible by user Tomcat as we provide the password as password only. The rules are manager GUI, admin GUI, and manager script. Save and come out of this. Next thing, again, we have to restart Tomcat services so that changes which we have made in Tomcat users.xml starts reflecting there. And the command is systemctl restart Tomcat 9 starting with sudo, and it's done again. Next thing which I'll do is I'll just right click and I'll go to manager web app, and it's allowing me to log in now. Another thing which I'll do is I'll check for the host manager web app, and yes, it's allowing me to log in here as well. Localhost is the host as of now, which is having Tomcat configured, which is connected to Tomcat server, and manager GUI is this GUI which shows me all the applications which is hosted on Tomcat server. As of now, I do have only host manager, which we just saw. Another application which we are going to host is the Java based application, which we are going to build by using Jenkins pipeline. In order to do that, I'm going to set credentials to Jenkins, and that will be our another step. So we have installed Tomcat 9. We have changed its port to 8081. We have logged in to Tomcat 9 server and its manager GUI. We have completed till step 3. Now let's go to step 4, where we'll create Tomcat credentials in Jenkins. In order to create Tomcat credential in Jenkins, we click on Manage Jenkins and we look for credentials options. Here, as of now, I have only system credentials. Let's add one more credential, which is Tomcat 9. And since the credential is username and password based, I'm going to keep the kind as username and password. Username is Tomcat and password is password. ID, I'm going to give Tomcat user and same as description. You can change it, you can keep it anything of your choice. Create it. Now, as you can see, I do have a credential created here. Next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to build the pipeline. In order to build the pipeline, I do have this as the source code. This source code is going to host one sample application which will have a web app hosted, and this web app should prompt the message, should reflect the message on the website on Tomcat server which says, hello everyone, hope you have a great learning. This demo is to deploy Java application on Tomcat 9. And for this, I'm going to use this Jenkins file. Now this Jenkins file is going to build first the package by using Maven configuration. Next, archive the package, deploy the package. Deployment will happen on localhost 8080. Now you might have Tomcat 9 configured or set up on EC2 instance or any of the virtual machine in that context. Alter localhost from IP address of your virtual machine. And another thing is, as of now, I've set the credential ID as Tomcat user. Whatever ID you have, whatever ID you configure on Jenkins, you put that ID here. And that's how it's going to work. Now, this we are going to run, this we are going to call by using this specific GitHub repository. So I have same code pushed to my GitHub repository, which is using exactly same configuration, by using which I'll be able to push it. Let's see if I do have updated code pushed. And for that, I have to again go back to my directory and I'll say git status. Okay, there's some modification in Jenkins file. I'll push updated Jenkins file to my repository. In order to do that, I'll add it, then I'll commit it, and I'll give a commit message as modified Jenkins file, and then I will do a git push origin. Since I'm pushing everything in branch main, henceforth I'll set the branch name as branch main. And that is how it is. Now I'm going to refresh it so that I do have the updated code present. And now let's try to use this specific repository. In order to use this specific repository, I'm going to click on code, get the code URL, HTTPS URL, which I'll be putting in my Jenkins shop. Now let's create a Jenkins shop. Click on new item and I'm going to say Java Maven deployment and I'll choose pipeline. Okay. Let everything remain default. Choose the definition as pipeline script from SCM. SCM as git. Repository URL is going to be this. Credential is the Tomcat credential, which we need. And branch is main as of now. And Jenkins file script path remains same. Save it. As of now, I'll again come back. I'll again go to manage app or the manager view of Apache Tomcat 9 server. And as of now, I can see only three application is hosted, which is slash, host manager and manager. As per our code, I should have another application which is hosted on context path app. After deployment, if everything goes fine, we should have another path here in application list, which is slash app, where our application will be hosted. And the application which will be hosted is this specific web page, which will prompt, which will show you this message. Let's run the pipeline. In order to run the pipeline, I have done all necessary configuration. I'm just going to hit on build now. As I hit on build now, as you can see, it starts building. Let's go to console output and let's see what it is doing as of now. Console output is trying to build things. It's trying to run the Maven configurations and it's trying to configure the deployment and seems it's works pretty fast. It has deployed there on Tomcat 9 server. Let's come back to manager configuration and let's refresh it. As you can see now, slash app started reflecting on manager-gui. Now let's see what is hosted there in slash app. In order to see that, let's do a right click and open link in new tab. And you can see, hello everyone, hope you have a great learning. This demo is to deploy Java application on Tomcat 9, demo on Tomcat 9 deployments. And yes, we have successfully deployed our application there on Tomcat 9 server. Whenever you want to modify the file, the view which you want to put on onto Tomcat 9 server, this will be the file index.jsp is the file where you have to come, you have to make changes, you have to modify, and similar thing, same content will be projected there on Tomcat 9 server. Now let's go back to the agenda. So we have created Tomcat 9 credentials, we have created Jenkins pipeline, and then we have deployed and verified application context on Tomcat 9 server. So yes, we have completed all the 6 points and finally achieved our goal by deploying application on web. This is all about this demo. If you liked this session, if you liked this demo, hit on like button, subscribe the channel and hit on notification icon so that you continuously keep getting notification of all latest videos which I post on. Thank you everyone for joining in.